In summer 2021, Hungary adopted a new law that discriminates against the LGBTQI community. The law does this in two ways. It prohibits the display of non-heterosexual content in the media for people under 18, and it also prohibits inclusive sex education courses for the same group of people. The European Commission has already addressed the first point of the Hungarian law about the media prohibition and challenged the law before the Court of Justice of the EU. The Commission argues that Hungary violates EU law and its obligations. However, the Commission has not yet addressed the second point of the law about sex education courses. And this is why at Reclaim we have done a study on this topic, and we have concluded that the Hungarian law about sex education courses also violates EU law. It is important to remember that the Hungarian constitution recognizes family only as a union of a man and a woman. In practice, this means that the new law prohibits mentioning in sex education courses all different kinds of families that can be found in real life, including homosexual and single-parent families. The law has a direct impact on NGOs and on private associations that give sex education courses in school, because they can only show heterosexual families. We believe the law limits the freedoms of these associations, and EU law can be used to protect such freedoms and also LGBTQI rights. We will focus on the violation of three EU rules: internal market freedoms, non-discrimination law, and the Charter of Fundamental Rights. Let's start with internal market freedoms. So, EU law protects you when you want to establish your activity or provide your services or simply work in another member state. In practice, this means that member states cannot adopt laws that make it less attractive for you to do this. In our study, we show that the Hungarian law does not respect this obligation because it discourages LGBT groups that provide sex education courses in schools from doing this. Secondly, we have EU non-discrimination law that says that member states should protect workers from discrimination and oblige employers to adopt non-discriminatory policies in the workplace. The Hungarian law clearly does not do so, and it actually creates a discriminatory working environment. Because of the law, many employers may prefer not to hire LGBT people for fear of being punished. At the same time, workers may feel discriminated against and prefer not to show their sexual orientation, also fearing criminal accusations. And finally, the Hungarian law also violates EU fundamental rights and freedoms. This law introduces a system of registration and accreditation for private organizations that want to provide sex education courses in schools. However, the law does not clarify the criteria to get such accreditation. The result? The administration may exclude organizations that show different kinds of families. Also, the law stigmatizes the LGBTQI community and discourages LGBTQI people from being themselves, limiting their freedom of expression and right to non-discrimination. This is why we think that the Commission should bring Hungary before the Court of Justice again, contesting these rules on sex education. This is not something only for the Commission. Other member states can also help. They can put pressure on the Commission to act, or they can themselves bring Hungary before the court.